Hello everyone, my name is Juan Mauricio Arroba Muñoz, and I would like to introduce to you my authentic assessment instrument called 1 Minute K-Master Response. I have called it 1 minute because it is the amount of time the response should last when recorded, and it is K-Master because it uses technology as part of this assessment instrument. This authentic assessment tool has been designed for English language learners for a general English course. This assessment instrument is adequate for beginner to advanced level of English language learners. I have chosen the intermediate level. This tool can be used in an ESL or EVL context extensively. I chose the ESL context in this case, and the audience I chose was German English language learners who want to pursue a 4-year university degree in the US. Concerning the rationale behind this authentic assessment instrument, I would like to first say that according to Chapman and King 2005, this authentic assessment tool is meant to be used as part of learners' formal assessment, because formal assessment is a set of tools that collect a specific and observable information, and in this case I'm asking learners to provide a written and unspoken response. This data can be derived from content knowledge, skills and abilities which are observable in learners' responses. Some examples of formal assessment tools are checklists, rubrics, and Likert scales, which I will be using in the development of the rubric for this assessment. Second, I would say that according to Chapman and King, again, this assessment tool is meant to be applied as part of learners' formative assessment. They state that formative assessment is an ongoing assessment that can happen before, during, or after the instruction, which takes us to our third point, which says that in this particular case, assessment happens after the instruction, and it helps me identify learners' individual needs and provide continuous feedback so students learn more effectively, I would say. Fourth, I would like to say this assessment instrument is considered an alternative in assessment because Brown 2004 states that not all assessment practices are formal tests, and this tool requires learners to perform, create, and produce a short written and spoken response. It also focuses on the processes as well as on the product, I would say, and it helps learners tap into higher order thinking and problem solving skills that simulate real-world context. Finally, this tool shows characteristics of authentic assessment since, according to Brown 2004, students make a constructed response and engage in higher order thinking as well as in meaningful, engaging, and authentic activities that call for the integration of all 4 language skills. Something I would like to add about this authentic assessment instrument is that it is differentiated as well because it identifies individual learners' needs, interests, and strengths. I have found myself in situations where learners are not satisfied with only one activity as part of their assessment, and they always want to take a next step. Therefore, this authentic assessment tool provides 2 parts, a written response and an unspoken response, which are based on Bloom's taxonomy for comprehension assessment, as stated in the book by Chapman and King 2005. So in the written response, learners are provided with an Instagram template where they're gonna be tapping into lower order thinking skills because they are required to first state what they have learned after a lesson has been taught, and it will help me identify learners' language knowledge. Then learners are expected to explain how a specific part of language works, and it will help me identify learners' level of comprehension of that part of language or that part of vocabulary that they are interested in. And lastly, learners are required to put language into practice through contextualized examples, which will help me identify whether learners can apply what was learned or not. In the spoken response, learners are first required to download Kingmaster into their smartphones, and they are required to tap into higher order thinking skills through the development of digital storytelling. So here learners need to transfer their written response to a spoken response through a digital narrative. So first, learners are expected to add images, written text, audio, and video to the written responses, which help them to develop the ability to synthesize and analyze information, in this case using Kingmaster as a technology-based tool. So this will allow them to evaluate their own spoken production in terms of pronunciation, syntax, and semantics as evidence of English as a second language learners' development, according to Case and Taylor 2005. So it will serve as evaluation purposes for the learners and as observable data for teachers. So in this slide, we're able to see how this authentic instrument 1 minute Kingmaster response looks like. We can see the written response where learners are required to tap into lower order thinking skills, and this is how the Instagram template looks like. And it was downloaded from the internet as well, and it was adapted by myself in this case, where learners are required to complete information pertinent to the unit of study. So this template will give teacher and learners information on whether learning objectives have been reached and the adjustments needed to be done if necessary. For the spoken response, learners are required to be tapping into higher order thinking skills, and they're supposed to download the Kingmaster application into their phone, and it is very user friendly, I would say. So this will allow learners to transfer what they have written into their Instagram template into a spoken response using digital storytelling. So according to Chapman and King 2005, technology enhances learning for students of all abilities in a differentiated classroom, because that's the purpose of this authentic assessment instrument to meet individual learners' needs and abilities and strengths. So technology also assists learners with instruction, and it teaches learners how to use technology in meaningful ways, and it creates opportunities for learners to interact with one another outside the classroom setting, which I would say is also important and beneficial for them. So it also provides opportunities for learners to practice, grow, and expand their language skills while enriching curiosity. And moreover, I would say that it facilitates peer learning, and it uses student-based strategies which offer a range of opportunities to meet diverse abilities in the classroom. And above all, it reduces learners' language anxiety because they're supposed to be at home and using technology. So based on the readings done in the last couple of books, like this assessment instrument has a rubric in order to avoid bias in grading, according to Chapman and King 2005, because they state that there seems to be subjectivity in grades. Brown 2004 also states that a rubric is adequate to compensate for the consuming impracticability of narrative evaluations in terms of time. And moreover, the advantages of such a rubric is that it increases practicability and reliability while maintaining watchback effect. So as we can see here, like it has 5 parameters, and we're using a Likert scales here, like from excellent to unsatisfactory, and I'm just giving them 2 points if they're like stating what is learned, if they're explaining how language works, if they put language into practice, if they respect the time frame, and if whether they add images, audio, and videos or not to their final production. There's also a comments section which will ensure that learners have feedback that will help them improve their learning skills. Finally, in this slide, you can see how the final product looks like in terms of the 1 minute K-master response. So you can see the answer of a student on the Instagram template, like related to the topic that he's considered he's learning the lesson, and the spoken response where you can see the video that has been produced using King Master's one of technology-based tools. I think this is a authentic assessment tool because it allows learners with different skills to develop lower order thinking as well as high order thinking skills as stated in the Bloom's taxonomy for comprehension assessment. It also allows learners to build lifelong learning skills through curiosity and a meaningful use of technology where they put in like the foreign languages skills into practice. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this 1 minute K-Master response.
Infinitives. Infinitives are in Spanish and English. Infinitives in Spanish have three different types or three special endings. They are IR, AR, and ER. For example, me gusta comer. I like to eat. Nos gusta vivir aquí. We like living here. Infinitives in Spanish can be used with a verb like gustar. Gustar can only be used in the form of gusta, not gustan with infinitives.